This is why I'm saying for Dame, and y'all gotta understand how Dame operates. Dame at that time knew what was what. Dame said, "This feel funny." When they were out there and they was talking about doing the shows, and this was after Pac died, they were like, I think they were out there for something, and they were like an award show, and they didn't go to the awards. Like they were supposed to be there for the awards, and then the people was trying to book them to like do a show and doing this, and like, but it was like a Suge Knight setup, dog. Suge was like locked up or going to trial or something at that time. And I remember they was in town for the the Soul Train Awards. And I think no, Pac was alive then. No, I take that back. Pac wasn't alive. It was the Soul Train Awards, the one Big went to, and he died like that week. Like he died like right after the awards, the next day. Big was they were there that week and they were trying to book Jay-Z to do something. Like they gonna book Jay at this thing, and he was out there chilling in LA with Big and them. And they left. Dame and all them said, "No, man, this feel funny." You know what I'm saying? Like it was gonna be a setup. And Suge is locked up at the time. But it felt like Suge still had his thumbprint or handprint on what was happening. Like it was a setup. Like if Jay would have did that show, Jay would have probably been robbed or something. Something bad was gonna happen to them while they were there. You know what I'm saying? So they looked at him like he was bad boy. Because when Jay was there, they kept saying bad boy killers. Like it was just people, West Coast dudes, bad boy killers. And Dame was pissed because they kept saying bad boy. And he was the whole time was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. You doing this with Big, now you bad boy. They don't say Rockefeller, they say bad boy. Because you hanging around these dudes. But Jay was trying to separate himself from Dame since Reasonable Doubt. He did not want to work with Dame Dash at all. From the very beginning, from Reasonable Doubt, he was trying to leave Dame his whole career. Dame could not get him a record deal, and they started to start a record label together and do it themselves. They had different plans from day one. Dame Dash is like, let's build this to an empire. F y'all. Y'all ain't want to sign us. Y'all ain't want to believe in us. F us. F y'all. We going to be powerful. We going to buy y'all out. That's what his thing was. Let's build this up. And this is the new. Right. That's the new thing. Now, what happened after that? Quite simple. People came into play and it got crazy. It got crazy. People start getting in each other's ear because Jay was pulling away from Dame. Dame had no control over Jay. Dame was all about where's the money. Like, you don't need Puff. You don't need this Big and all that. You don't need that. We're going to play the game because they promoting us. Well, we don't need them. Dame was all about that. Then when Big died, and I think Jay called Dame and told him Big got shot. Then he called back and said Big died. After they came back from Cali, from hanging with Big. Jay wasn't sad at all. Like Jay didn't, it was no tears that came out of Jay's eyes when he said it. And Dame could tell you this in the Testament when they had their meeting, when they met up. Like, damn. Like, they was more like, can you believe it, Big gone? And they was like, man. Somebody was like, man, that's messed up. This whole game, man, they done screwed everything up. He was like, nah, New York gonna need a king. Remember, at this time, Jay was already working on Volume 1. Volume 1 was already coming out and was in works. And he had Puff producers, the hitmen, working for him. And Puffy got paid for all of it. The hitman was a created name by Diddy that he incorporated. So he gets paid off there when it says the hitman. And then they make all the beats. It was just like Master P with Beats to the Pound. Kev and all those guys is making the beats, but it's called Beats to the Pound. He owns that imprint, so he's getting paid off of it. Yeah, he was doing the commission album with Biggie and was like rapping under the name Iceberg Slim. And that was going to be his name. And Dame was not filling the commission album. He was like, what you doing? He was like, no, I'm going to do Jay-Z records. And then I'm going to do this over here with this commission. We all got like mob names. And this is what was pissing off. This is what people were pissing off, like Wu-Tang them. They were really pissed because now everybody wants to change their names. They were pissed at Biggie for that. Now he Frank White. Now it's Iceberg Slim. Now everybody want to change their name up. Now everybody want to have 3 and 4 names. We do something and then everybody want to get an extra name. Like, dog, that's fly. They got another alias. Iron Man is Tony Stark. You know, I was like, RZA, they got the Resurrector. They got all kind of names for each one. Lex Diamonds is Raekwon. It's like, dude, Golden Arms, everybody had their own alias to their alias. It was like, wow, that's crazy. Method Man was Johnny Blaze. So everybody bit that from Wu-Tang. So Diddy started biting it. Now Puff Daddy is Diddy. And man, they were so pissed off. You talking about pissed? The Wu-Tang was pissed. Jay-Z is now Iceberg Slim. It was like, man, what are you doing? Right. He was Raleigh Fingers. Master Killer was Noodles. Right. So they became essential to the trendsetters, right? And people stealing the way that RZA was making tracks. So he was not happy about this at all. So Wu-Tang's mad. They mad at this whole commission album, everything. So they was going to have a whole beef with the Wu-Tang over this situation right here. And Jay got confronted by Ghostface. And this was when the whole thing blew up. You know, they blew over because Big died. Once Biggie died, all of that just faded away because you can't be seen. All that Raekwon beef with Biggie and all that with him and Ghost, that was over. You know, because Big ain't here no more. But that was going to be a war in New York with Jay and Big going at it with Ray and Ghost and Wu-Tang, and Nas is going to be in the middle. and he was gonna have to pick a side, and it was gonna be with the Woo them. Him and Big already wasn't speaking, so they was gonna have a battle for New York. It was crazy. And Big was letting it be known on that kick in the door. Ain't no relinquishing the title at all. This goes out for those that choose to use disrespectful views on the King of NY. Help that. Why try? Throw bleach in your eye. Now you're brailing it. Slice that white stuff. You're scaling it. Yeah. Man, that was funny. He threw that bleach in Raekwon's face at the club when they got into it. Go in the club, beef with white, throwing bleach out, trying to throw it in my eyesight like, what the fuck is on your mind? He didn't diss Jay-Z on Kicking the Door. That's some people make up so much because they wanted that. He was not dissing Jay-Z on Kicking the Door. That's is kicking some bullshit. Tried to say, oh, he dissed Big on the first thing on the Little Kim remix. I was like, first of all, Big it was Big's idea to put Jay-Z on that record with Lil' Kim on her first album and help her with the track because she had to remove her verse. Puff was like, nah, we got to take that verse off because she was dissing Tupac on that verse. So they had to take that verse off, and they took off Biggie verse that he did with the Junior Mafia on the song at the end. Yeah, they cut Big's verse off of that. Because when he come in over there, because my boss is an outlaw. That beat was hard. Big was about to tear that beat to pieces. Like he wrote about the whole Lil' Kim album. Him, Mace, I think they wrote a lot of that album. No, Jay just wanted to blow up. Like I said, Dame wanted Rockefeller to be a tandem. Jay wanted to use Rockefeller just so he could blow up. So hopefully Def Jam or somebody would come buy him out so he could be on another label. He did not want to be partnered with Dame Dash. He did not want to be partnered with Dame. He wanted out from day one because there was no money at Rockefeller. They wasn't bringing no money in. Reasonable Doubt did not bring any money in. They paid for all those St. Thomas trips. That was hustling. They wasn't making no money at Rockefeller. That's why they had to do a deal with Def Jam. Def Jam came in for 50%, 25% went to Polygram. So when Volume 1 came out, they released only one Jay-Z album because they've been spending too much money with distribution. So Reasonable Doubt is the only album they really distributed on their own.
Like it's all bullshit. So I never looked at it as real. It was like the WWE or You know, it's like battle rap. Them niggas be beefing with each other and they give each other pounds after. They be talking about each other's mothers. Battle rap, they talk about each other's mothers.
But see, battle rappers are broke. You see, when you a rapper and you got a fan base, this affects everything. Sponsorship deals, money. So yeah, they take it real personal. Now, because now you messing with their livelihood. Back then, you diss a rapper and you could stop his whole bag. Look at what happened with Prodigy. They put Prodigy P on the screen, and then because he had a baby picture, a picture of him as a kid and dancing in New York, that means Prodigy is soft now. Oh, he weak. He ain't nothing. Mobb Deep sales dropped the very next album. They lost everything off that. You was a ballerina. And he was not in a ballerina costume. But Jay said he was in it. And he was like, dude, we got the pictures. We seen you. Oh, no, that's Prodigy. No. Dame Dash had $600,000 left when they did that deal with Volume 1 with Def Jam. He thought it was a bad idea to sign with. They was big. Biggs wanted to do it. Jay wanted to do it. Dame did not want to do it. He didn't want to take the deal with Def Jam. He felt they could have got a better deal with, I believe, not Epic Records, but I want to say Capitol. It might have been Capitol or another record label. But he was like, we can get a better deal. He was like, man, it's Def Jam. You know what I'm saying? Def Jam is doing this. They ready to come up. You know, Def Jam is doing that. We got Kevin Liles and Leor got involved. And this is when Leor became part of their life. Because mostly Leor wasn't really around. It was always Kevin Liles. Kev was the one that did all the running around for them and getting abused by Dame and had to deal with Dame Dash craziness. But he was there to help Jay and just facilitate everything. Leor wasn't really connected. So when Volume 1 came, and they were only really interested because Puff needed somebody quick, and Mace was it. So Mace's album finna come out. But, you know, Mace just had a #1 record when Big was alive. People keep forgetting that. I'm like, Mace had a #1 record. Mace had the #1 record. So when Mace had a #1 record with Puff, and they was doing their things on the street that can't nobody hold me down. And I got to keep on moving. Puff was, Dame was like, this is the weakest shit I've ever heard. This shit came out Sugar Hill Gang. This is like 20 years old. Why everybody acting like this is the greatest song ever? Dame can understand how this song was like #1 and on radio stations is playing it. He said, this song is garbage. Our stuff is way better than this. He's like, they just pay money to all this to get all the spins. That's all it is. The song is terrible. And he's like, now you got Biggie in the music video, and this song is terrible. He was just losing it. So Dame was always been off the rails. He hated that record. He was like, Jay, you ain't getting on that record. I don't care what they say. You will never be on a record like that. I would never prove that. And Jay looked like, man, if they ask me to get on that record, I'm getting on that record. You ain't gonna have no choice. Like he really was like, really? Shoot, if they ask me to get on a record that's hot and getting that spins, I'm gonna be on that record. What do you mean? So that minds were different. They had different philosophies on business. And when you and partners and y'all not on the same track at all on anything, this is when the problems come in. Yes, that's when the album came out, 97. And they dropped on the same day. Mace and Jay-Z album came out together. Because everybody was like, oh, Mace is going to come out. Because right after Big died, Biggie album came out. Like right before the funeral. Ready to Die was on the streets. Because Scarface had just dropped. I'll never forget it. Scarface had just dropped. So the Scarface album came out. We all went and got Scarface album. And we was in there having a conversation about Jay. We was like, it was like, so what you think Jay album finna do? I mean, Big album finna do. You think it's gonna outsell Pac 5 million? I was like, shoot, man, I don't know if I'm like, he had to die for something like that to happen. This is right, and then Biggie died that night. I said he'll have to die to do some 5 million. Shoot, he probably had to die where he can get to 5. He might sell 2, 3 million, but 5? Nah, man, he probably had to die for something like that. Biggie died that night. I just picked up Scarface album. Scarface album wasn't finna hit the streets until Scarface album was gonna hit the streets on Tuesday. I mean, it officially came out that Tuesday. We had it that Friday. So that Saturday night, or I think it was Saturday night or Friday night, Big died tonight. You know, he got shot, he ended up dying. So that was in March, of course. And the very next week, Biggie album's coming out. So by the next week, that next Friday, I had Ready to Die. So because when the box come in, I get it when the box arrive. You know, they sell it to me, you know, mom and pop shops, you know, that's how it used to work. So you want it off the shelves before it hit the shelf. You know when the box arrive. I know when the mail guy come there. I know when the boxes get there. As soon as they open that box up, the dude who worked there, he got his CD. I got mine. We get ours back to back. So I got everybody. That's how I got Reasonable Doubt. And it was just sitting there. Nobody was even buying Jay-Z because they ain't know nothing about him really. So now everything's finna change in a dynamic because now Big is gone. Puff came out immediately with a maxi EP with Sting, Every Breath You Take, and without getting any permission to use the record, they just put it out. And Clive told him, he said, Sean, you made a mistake. This is Sting and the Police song, you know, like they finna really, he was like, well, we could just pay him. And he was like, you ain't gonna want to pay with it. He was like, this song is making them hot again. They got the song. So they worked it out. And Clive Davis negotiated the deal to give him some money off of the record or whatever. Now they would just take the whole record. But back then he made a deal. They put Sting on stage. So he got a chance to sing it live when he did the performance because it was a dedication song to somebody that died. And they did a whole manipulation of Sting so they could use the song and got Faith Evans singing on the record. And they made so much money. That one record sold like 5 million copies. And they was like, this is dedicated to Big and the family and the kids. So Puff did the EP to cover everything there. but it built up his album, and you got Mace's album coming. So now you got a Hell Up in Harlem coming. Then Mace is coming after that. So Puff album come out and it's got Victory on it. They took the song that was going to be on the commission and they moved that to the album, the song with Jay-Z. So now Jay-Z's on the album. And Puff got his people doing all of the volume 1. Jay had all these songs done by other people. And that ended up being The Streets Is Watching. Like some of them was on Streets Is Watching. And they basically, Dame Dash was right. He said, you want Puffy to do your whole album? All right. But he's just like, dude, you got Def Jam. And this is the only reason Def Jam was even interested, because Biggie died. And they said, well, he was close to this Jay-Z guy. And Jay-Z been doing his thing, and we had a chance to sign him. And now he's got this Mickey Mouse label he's on. Let's just buy it for 50%. Let's take 50% of it, partner with him. But it really wasn't a partnership. It was really a part acquisition, because Rockefeller was never going to have enough money to deal with Def Jam. They backed by Polygram now. So they the Def Jam Island Group. And at any given time, their 50% could get bought out if they feel like they're not living up to the obligations of the deal. So right away, it's like a 7-album deal. I think it's like 9 or 10 albums. To be real, I think it was like a 9-10 album deal with Rockefeller. So they was 10 albums they needed to get out of the deal. So right away, they come out with volume 1, and that didn't do nothing to the numbers they thought it was going to do. They was shipping it platinum. So they're going to ship 1 million copies, because they was like, all right, this dude finna blow up. Everybody want to hear what Jay's going to be like. And right now, everybody was in the party mode, club mode. Jay don't have club records. He had Sunshine. That was garbage. That was supposed to be the club record. It wasn't. It was terrible. So Puff was like, it don't matter if your album is garbage. You're going to sell because we're going to put you on the tour. So Al Heyman, who with Floyd Mayweather, Al Heyman, that guy, he put money up for the tour, and what was supposed to be Biggie's tour now became the Puffy Bad Boy tour with Little Kim, Foxy Brown. That's when Little Kim and Foxy fell out, and it never got back cool. But those two fell out, and then you had Puff, Jay-Z, and they were doing the whole cities, going around all the cities. And they would go to Anaheim. That was the only close to Cali they would get to, was like Anaheim. They were doing no West Coast, nothing. And they had so much security in Anaheim, it was nuts. So Jay was like, look, this ain't doing nothing for me. Because by the time Jay performed, it's like not too many people there. So he's like, this ain't doing nothing for me. I'm leaving the tour. So Puff was like, all right. He was like, well, I'm going to go lead the tour, and then I'm going to go shoot my video for Sunshine. So he convinced Foxy Brown to lead the tour. And she was getting good money, and she left the tour to go film the video, Sunshine, with Jay. Jay convinced her to leave. Because the money wasn't enough. One, the money wasn't really nothing for Jay. And Jay was like, this ain't doing nothing for my album. These people don't even know my album. I'm like, dude, you out there in a bulletproof vest, holding your guns up, shooting the audience. Just holding your hand up like a gun, shooting the audience and rapping. It's like, dude, what are you doing? His stage presentation wasn't there yet. Jay was not... this is the wrong tour for you anyway. You know what I'm saying? And Buster told him, Buster was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, son? Yeah, you will. Well, one day, man, we gonna be doing this, man. You gonna be ripping it down. Buster was always up because Buster was on that tour doing his thing too. So now, after they do all this, he was like, yep, I saw that tour. Right. So after this, Dame is like watching all of this go down, materialize. And Jay left the tour. And he was like, you left that money to go make that video? Mm-mm. For that song? And he told him, don't put that song out. Dame told him, like, Dame, you making a mistake. Don't put that song out. And he put out Sunshine, and he's like, man, that almost killed Rockefeller Records, dog. He was like, we come out with this. And then he did The City Is Mine. And he was like, Dame was not feeling these records. He was like, you're not Mace. You're not big. You can't. They could do this. You can't do these records. These are not you. Like Where I'm From and stuff like that. Like those are the Jay-Z records that you can do. You know, like these are not your records, dog. You can't do this. Like the commercial hit, he couldn't make the commercial hit back then. He didn't know how. The hitman was trying to give him some, but he just didn't know how to rap to that yet. He wasn't schooled enough to make that transition.